Well, welcome to our webinar. This is Mexican, Spanish, and Slang today. And as we said in the introduction, we have Alex Tapia, JP Uribe, and myself, Jessica Uribe, here with us. We did have a few people join after we introduced ourselves. So if we could just have a very brief introduction again, that would be wonderful. Alex, would you like to start?
Sure thing. All right, so as Jesse said, and as I told you before, I'm Alex Tapia. I was born in Mexico City. I was actually raised here in Querétaro. And I'm very glad to be here with you guys so we can share some of the common expressions used here in Mexican Spanish. And well, a little bit about my background. I studied marketing, but about a little bit more than 16 years ago, I started my own business, which is a language center here in Querétaro. Well, it is based in here in Querétaro. We could say like the headquarters are here, but we're now working only online. And so we can have customers even all over the world. So
Wow.
I normally teach English, but I also teach Spanish. And also, as I said before, something very important for me and for Union Gate, which is the language center I run, it's not only to show the grammar of the languages. And when we do that, we do it in a very practical way, not really for students to memorize theory, because it's something that we don't really use when we are speaking with a person or writing a text or something, but to get to know about the culture of the language, right? So I think that is the most important thing, and that's what we do. And well, this is my little introduction. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Alex. JP, would you like to briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Okay, my name is Jean Paul, or JP, as he's saying. I was told that I got the opportunity to marry a beautiful woman, which is Jessica, and we were sharing a little bit. Well, she actually has helped me a lot with English. I'm still a work in progress in my language, but one of the things that I enjoy is when I have the opportunity to teach, as Alex was saying, those slangs, those parts that you won't find necessarily in schools. Those things are like just slangs. And I also work. I am the owner of a small business I'm selling gym equipment, supplements, and gym accessories. So I'm glad that I'm here and looking forward for this and just having fun.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'm Jessica Uribe. I am the owner of the Querétaro Culture Connect, or the Querétaro Culture Corner. I'm sorry. I just began this as a way to reach out to expats, any type of foreigners who are coming to Mexico, so they can understand the culture, be able to dive into the culture, and feel comfortable living here in Querétaro or wherever they land in Mexico, whether to live somewhat short-term or the rest of their lives here. So I've been here 18 years. I'm originally from near Portland, Oregon in the US. I started learning Spanish in high school, so I was 14, and that was quite a while ago. I'm definitely, like JP said, a work in progress with my language skills in Spanish, but I do okay. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now so we can get started with Mexican sayings and slang. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk first about expressions of surprise, approval, and disgust. And feel free to take notes, even take a picture of the screen. There's not going to be a lot of things on the screen, mainly just the word or phrase that we're going to go over. So our first expressions of surprise, approval, or disgust are órale. And I think JP is going to tell us what that means.
Yeah, órale. Okay, órale. Use órale. It could be used as an agreement to something. For example, if you make plans, or if you are asking somebody, hey, would you like to go to the movies? And sometimes you will hear people saying like, órale. It's like, órale, which means like, okay, yeah, I agree to do this. I also could be as a surprise. For example, Seahawks fan here, right here. So if my wife comes and hey, I bought us tickets for the Seahawks, I could say like as a surprise, like órale. It's like wow. It's like but in agreement, like that is cool. It's like I'm in. It's like órale.
So that's probably a phrase that if you've been around in Mexico a while that you've heard. Another one that's pretty common expression is, there we go, híjole.
Yeah, híjole. Okay, híjole. We could say that is like saying in the US like shoot, darn, like darn. Example, if Jesse comes or somebody comes and try to surprise us and say like, hey, guess what? I made plans for us to go to, somebody here was saying, Joanne, I think that she's living right now in San Miguel. Like, hey, let's go to see Joanne. And I made plans for going there. She already knows. So we're traveling on Friday. Then you hear the guy saying, híjole. And it's that moment that is like, shoot, it's a little bit of, if he could be even saying, you know what, I have a doctor's appointment. It's like, híjole. Is that moment is like, I can't. There is this thing in the way or in between. It seems, or it can be used as if it were something that you really wanted to be part of, but because of your appointments, you couldn't do it. Or it could also be when, for example, when somebody's put you in a tight spot, and it's those ones that you don't want to do it, and you're trying to find an excuse. So it's like, hey, would you like helping me with? And you're like, híjole. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think so.
I would, but I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, could you help
Or
me?
I don't want to.
You invest all your weekend, help me. Híjole.
I love that idea, but you know what?
But yeah.
Let's move on. What, Alex, can you help us know what
Sure.
the term que padre means?
Definitely. So, que padre, it's an expression to show that you really like something. So, for example, this webinar, when I found out Jesse was or started having this idea, I was like, wow, que padre. It's like so good, right? Amazing. It's just to show that you really like something. Also, as Jean-Paul said before, if we make plans to go visit Joanne in San Miguel, it would be very padre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another way that we can say that also, which is chido, o que chido.
Exactly. So chido, yeah, it is also to express that you like something. Like you can also add que chido, or like yeah, this is really nice. This is very nice. It's like está chido. It is very nice. Está chido, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it means
cool
that you like something, and it's of course something that you wouldn't use in a professional situation. I mean,
There.
que padre,
Correct.
for instance, you could use it even if you are in a work meeting, right? It's not really a big problem if you say que padre, and if you are with a CEO of a big company, it's not really a problem. But chido, it would be more like street slang, right? So it's more only between friends. Sometimes if you, for example, are invited over to have dinner to your in-laws, right? Maybe you're not gonna be looking forward to say this word in front of your in-laws. I mean, if you feel very confident being there, and if you have a strong relationship already with them, maybe you could use it, but I wouldn't at first.
And it's not like a bad word, like
It's not about that.
like a swear word or anything, correct?
No,
It's just
correct.
very informal.
Exactly. It's not a bad word, but it's totally.
What would we say? Tacky? It would be tacky.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could say it's a bit tacky.
Can you think of another word besides que padre, or another phrase that you could use for saying something is cool that's more professional?
More professional. Good question. Well, the thing is that, of course, you could use whatever other adjectives, like is excellent. Well, excelente would be a little different, but
Is genial something that we could
genial.
use?
Yes,
Genial?
definitely, definitely. Genial. Está genial. Está genial. Right?
Genial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
a little bit more professional, if you would like to say, or more, not even polite, but a bit better.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. But
And
now
you know
we know
what?
what
I think
chido
that
means.
was, yeah, and it's good to
Somebody
clarify that.
said,
I think that applies the same use instead in a professional environment. It's just kind of like more in the streets as a common phrase. A todo dar, yeah.
Yep, that's a
Somebody
good one
saying a todo dar,
too.
yeah.
though, a todo dar, it's like speaking in a professional environment. You can say a todo dar, and it's not wrong or anything. It just, I would say, is not that common. And in a more professional environment, it doesn't really sound very professional either.
Okay.
It's way better than saying chido. Anyways.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually,
We're gonna move. Oh,
now
go
that we're
ahead.
in that subject, I think Alex has a good point. When you are using slangs in general, like pretty much all those slangs, when you are talking in a proper language in a meeting, you're in your work and you are with your boss, you try to not use slangs unless you really have a tight friendship. So I think slangs in general has that.
Yeah.
Has a time to use it on a place.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Thank you for that. We're gonna move on a little bit. There's a term, this is very informal, when something is gross, and a lot of times it's kids or teens that use this, and they'll say wakala. That's how that's pronounced, wakala. Like somebody says, "Oh, we're gonna eat an oyster milkshake today." It's like, "Ooh, wakala." So that's an expression of disgust. And fuchi is another one that is also used more by kids. But like if your child comes home from playing outside and their hands have like dirt all over them, like fuchi, ooh, go wash your hands, because your hands, like tus manos están fuchis. Your hands are fuchi, they're gross. So that's another expression for disgust. Both of these would not be used in a professional setting though. And they tend to be more for younger people, like, or an adult talking with a younger person, like a child or teenager.
Which literally, sorry, going back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think there's a very short word in English for that would be yuck.
Yuck. Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
both of them would be like yuck.
Or ew.
Yucky.
Yeah, also.
The wakala, or no, like fuchi is like yucky. That's something that you
Yucky.
would use more for a younger person. Ooh, that's yucky. Don't put that in your mouth. Yucky. Like, don't put that thing that you found on the ground in your mouth. Fuchi, fuchi.
Yep. Good one.
What about, oh, this is no manches is another expression. Again, not in a professional setting. This is when it could be an expression of surprise, like someone that you haven't seen in a long time shows up on knocking on your door, and you go, oh, no manches, I haven't seen you in forever. And that can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad expression. Like when somebody says, I went fishing and I caught a fish that weighed 20 kilos, and you're like, no manches, because you don't believe that person. It's saying that's ridiculous. That is not possible. No manches. So this one can go, it's surprise or disbelief, depending on how you use it. And again, this is generally this is not something that you would use in a professional setting to the one thing that I've started using instead of this, in the disbelief use of no manches, I'll say no inventes. Like, it actually means don't invent stuff, but it's a little bit less slang-ish. No inventes. It's disbelief, but more proper than no manches.
Could I add something here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like no manches could also be when you don't want something to happen, right? Similar as what you said before, like no inventes, but when you say like no way, right? It's like, hey, what about doing this? And you don't like the idea at all. It's like, no manches, no, of course not. Like, no way, this is gonna happen.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, my earphones are falling out. Okay. Moving on then, Alex, there's some words that we're going to hear that start with the term me cae.
Me cae.
And me cae,
Yes.
caer, which is where cae comes from.
Right,
like
me cae.
Fall, but
Me cae is like in a more literal translation would be like to fall down, right? Like when you fall is when you use this. But I think this also would come because the idea kind of falls to your mind, or something falls to your mind, putting it that way. And when you mix it or you match it with bien, me cae bien means that you like something or someone. Like, I don't know, if you have upset stomach, right? And you drink some chamomile tea, te cae bien, right? You're gonna feel better. It's gonna be something good for your stomach, right? And here, and I think it's more the matter of this slide. It's about referring to people. For example, Jean Paul and Jesse, right? Me caen, like we would add an N at the end of the word, right? Me caen bien. I like them. All right.
And it doesn't mean in a romantic sense. Like,
No,
I, as a woman married to JP, can talk about a male friend and say me cae bien, and it just means like, oh, he's nice.
Right.
It doesn't mean like, ooh, I like him.
Right. Of course. Like, I mean, you guys are my friends, right? And I totally respect you, but I can definitely say, oh, I really like Jessica, right? Jessica me cae bien. Definitely.
Yeah. Another one that is a good thing, that's also very slang.
De lujo, it's like even more than bien, right? It's like, actually, lujo, the literal translation for this into English would be luxury, right? Like something luxurious, let's say. So de lujo is like when you really, really like something, right? Or me cae de, if I wouldn't really say this would be very common to be used now. Like me cae de
Okay.
lujo wouldn't be very common to be used, but if you listen to someone saying this, is like Jean Paul me cae de lujo, it's like, man, this guy is amazing. I really like this guy, right? Or I don't know. Actually, the other day I was watching this Spanish show on TV. It's a little talk show that is El Hormiguero, and they give a bank card with 3,000 euros to a person they call on the
Ooh.
phone. So, of course, if something happens to you, that will be like, that money me cae de lujo. Ese dinero me cae de lujo. Like, I would really use that money. It's amazing if I get that, right?
Yeah. Great. What about things that are not so great? Me cae mal.
In a negative matter, me cae mal is like, I don't like this thing, or I don't like this person. Even again, going with food, right? There's some people are lactose intolerant, right? So if they eat or drink something with milk, with lactose, it's gonna be bad for their stomach, and they can say, me cae mal la leche, o me cayó, like in past, me cayó mal lo que comí, right? Or referring to a person, this guy, esta persona me cae mal. I don't like this person.
Yeah. And it's not like I hate the person. It's not that strong. But it's,
Could be,
you know, you don't care for such a person. Yeah.
Maybe
And
you
now,
just don't want to sound that bad.
yeah. Me cae bien y me cae mal, those are ones that would not be as like unprofessional slang, correct?
Right.
What about me cae gordo or gorda?
Right. It's quite similar as me cae mal, right? Me cae gordo. I don't like this guy, right? I can't stand this person. Me cae gordo. If as
And even
you
though,
said, if you refer to a guy, if you say me cae gorda, it's referring to a woman.
yeah, and gordo or gorda means fat,
Fat,
literally. But in this situation, it means bad. Like I don't
right.
care for them.
Yes, it's just a slang, right? Sometimes when we use words in slang, they don't really have the same meaning. Maybe it comes from there, because normally, well, even for your health, it's not good if a person is fat, right? Because of health issues. And I don't know, maybe it's taken from there. I would lie to you if I told you that this is exactly because of that. I don't really know,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really have anything to do with appearance, with the appearance of the person. It's more focusing the personality. It means that your personalities don't match, so you don't like that person because of that.
Okay. Thank you. We're gonna move on to some informal greetings, if that's all right. Alex, do you think you could tell us what ¿qué tal means?
Yeah. ¿Qué tal? Literally is like, what's up? It's like you arrive to a place and okay. But the thing here with ¿qué tal? I would say that referring about greetings slang would be the best one. It's not like street slang, putting it that way, right? You could definitely use this even in a business situation, right? It's like how's it going? How's it going? Like you arrive to the meeting room and you say hi to hi everyone, how's it going? ¿Qué tal?
And
right?
do we need to respond to this? And if so, what is the response?
Bien. ¿Qué tal? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo bien? ¿Tú? ¿Tú qué tal?
This one confused me when I first came to Mexico, even though this is one that is used in general in Spanish speaking countries. But I was always like, ¿Qué tal? Do I say bien or do I just smile and nod? Because
Well,
like, yes.
this greeting, people say it not necessarily waiting for an answer. It's more just a
Mhm.
greeting that you can reply to, but they usually are not waiting for an answer for that. It's more like that moment of like, hey, how's it going? But it's kind of like just saying hi at the same time. All
And we have a
so that
question.
is
Can you say ¿Qué
Right.
tal todo?
Yes, definitely. ¿Qué tal todo? It's actually the same thing. There's no difference. ¿Qué tal todo? It's the exact same thing.
Okay.
Now, of course, what Jean Paul said, it's also true. But I think going back to what I told you before, referring to the culture of the country, I think there are some differences that I sometimes tell my students when they're learning English, because here in Mexico, people, let's say we are a bit more sensitive, right? Like if we say hi to someone and this person don't really pay attention and answer back kind of the same way we're doing, we may feel it like, oh, maybe this person doesn't like me, right? Or
Mhm.
what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? Right? Because sometimes it's not the same thing in the US or Europe, right? Where it's not wrong. Like if, I mean, when you're in university here and somebody sneezes, everybody says salud, like even the teacher,
Yeah.
right? And for people in the US, it's like, what a waste of, I mean, everybody can sneeze, right? And so if everybody sneezes, everybody's gonna say salud to everybody or what? So I would say this is something important for you guys to know, that sometimes here in Mexico, people expect you to be as nice as Mexicans are, you know, because
Yeah.
we may not know, we may not consider that you're coming from another country with a different culture, and we might take it as something bad from you, and they're gonna be like, oh, no me cae bien este gringo. I
Me
don't like
cae
this
mal.
gringo. Me cae mal. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point, Alex.
Maybe they're gonna think you're rude if you
Yep.
don't answer back, right?
yeah,
I think it took longer than
absolutely.
expected.
No, that's okay. What about
All right.
No,
¿Qué
you're
onda?
right. I think you're right with that.
All
Yeah,
right, now
definitely.
¿qué onda? It's way more informal, right? So if you are with friends, yes, definitely. You can just arrive to the place when you're meeting your friends, and you can say, ¿Qué onda? Right? Hey, everyone. It's just like that. It's literally, okay, so ¿qué tal would be literally as how's it going? And ¿Qué onda would be literally like what's up?
Okay.
Right? So if you're in a business situation, you're not really you wouldn't really like to say ¿Qué onda? Like the other people in the room are not really expecting you to say hi like that. Again, if you're in a business relationship, but the environment is very friendly, maybe you could do it. And this is also changing with the time now. You find now more people in work meetings using more slang than before. Like these situations are changing also with the time. Not that the topics are not going to be serious, but the way people communicate to one another, it's also changing. Now the even business environments are becoming a bit more friendly. Sometimes people also use bad words there, and in the past that didn't happen, not that often at least.
Yeah.
Right? But of course, if you are for example, in my business, right, that we offer training in languages for people in companies, people that don't speak English, right? Maybe I don't know, an American company like Eaton, right? And we go there and we offer our services I'm not gonna get to the HR or manager, like, hey, ¿qué onda? Right? Here are my English courses for your employees to learn English. Like, I would never say that, definitely.
Okay. What about ¿qué pasa?
¿Qué pasa? Right. ¿Qué pasa as a greeting wouldn't be very common to be used nowadays, right? And normally this question would be taken as when you want to know if there's something wrong. It could also be like, what's up, you know?
Okay.
But it would be a bit more like, what's going on? Like, hey, is everything okay? Or what's going on, right? But if you use it to say hi to someone, it could be, but it's less common. From this, I would say this one is the less common one to use, to say hi.
Okay. And what about when you're saying goodbye to someone? Nos vemos.
Right, it's very, very common. It's like literally saying see you later, right?
And
See you
that's
soon.
fine in a professional situation.
It is definitely. There's no difference if you want to use it with friends, or if you want to use it with your boss at work, or if you want to use it with a customer in a work or business meeting. There's no difference, right? You can use it either way.
Okay. Wonderful. Let's move on to the next section, which is common Mexican phrases. And a lot of these are specifically Mexican. I can't, not 100% of them are, but quite a few of them are specific to Mexico. And one of those is the term aguas. It's an expression. And I'm pretty sure everyone here in this webinar knows what the word agua means. It means water. So why would you yell waters? That's weird. It actually means be careful or watch out, because back in the olden days, people would be, whether it was best case mopping their floors and had a bucket of dirty floor water, or worst case something from the bathroom that they needed to throw out, they would open the window, have the bucket of dirty water and say aguas, and toss it out the window. They would yell aguas, so whoever is out there isn't going to get hit by the dirty water. And today, and this is very much Mexican and not from other Spanish-speaking countries, we might, like, if JP is saying goodbye to me out here in front of the house and he has his back turned to the street, but he's walking into the street and a car is coming, I might say aguas, like, be careful, there's a car coming, you know? So it's a general expression of be careful or watch out. And this word, este, E-S-T-E, este, means like this. However, when you go este, that's the Spanish, and as far as I know, most, if not all, Spanish-speaking countries use this as their version of the North American English like so I could be talking and I'm saying, I think I'm gonna leave the house at 11 a.m. So it's a filler word that means for those of us who are native English speakers. And it's, you hear Mexicans use this este, like they drag it out as they're thinking, as people from the US and Canada and maybe European English speaking countries would say, So I don't know if that's really a slang word, but it's definitely something that you'll hear. We have a couple other words that JP is going to explain for us. Echarle aguas.
Okay. Echarle aguas. You will you will find it like frequently, for example, in the Walmart parking lots. Like people would say like, hey, would you like me to echarte aguas? Or aquí te echo aguas. When you're in a parking and a person says that, it means that he's helping you to maneuver in or out of the spot, the parking spot. That would be echarle aguas. Like, hey, I'll help you here so you don't hit anybody.
And aguas is
okay.
used as the careful, like we said, the term aguas, it's being used in that sense of I'll help you be careful as you maneuver your vehicle.
Yeah. Or, like kids or teenagers, they are doing something that they shouldn't or are not supposed to. Like, hey, I will go and I have no idea, go to visit my girlfriend, but I don't know if the parents are there and there is the other kid, and it's like, I will echarte aguas, let me check and I will let you know if the parents are coming so you don't get caught. So yo te echo aguas.
Wonderful. What about echarle ganas?
Now, echarle ganas would be when people are trying to encourage you to make an effort. It's kind of encouraging somebody. You are doing as a way of encouraging you, like, hey, you know what? Don't worry, échale ganas. It's like, you can do this. You will do it. And people, hey, I don't think I can finish this assignment. It's due tomorrow, and I have just a couple of hours. And like, you can do it. Échale ganas. Make that effort. You can do it.
Yes, thank you. Alex, what about dar el avión? So just to
give the plane.
Yeah, so literally you can say what those words mean in a literal sense first. I don't know how much Spanish some of the people in the webinar know.
Right, well, dar el avión is just to blow off, right? Is when someone is telling you about something and you say yes, just for that person to think you are paying attention and that you are agreeing, that you agree with him or her, and but you're just blowing this person off, right? You're giving him or her the plane, which doesn't make any sense, right? I would love someone to give me a plane, so I would be a plane owner. But no, it doesn't, like, literally, it doesn't make any sense. But it's just like, you don't care about what this person is telling you, so you are just like, oh yes, whatever, just blowing up.
Yeah. And the next one here, dar un aventón or ride or raite.
Yes, me das un raite. Exactly. Me echa. Sometimes people also use echa. Me echas ride, right? It's like, or dar un aventón. It's to help someone. Maybe you're driving your car, right? And this person is going to the same direction as you are. And so he or she jumps into your car and you give him or her a lift. Like you take this person or you leave this person to a closer place to where they're going, right?
So obviously
or you take the
English.
person, right? Or you take this person to the exact place, right? Even maybe you weren't even looking forward to go out or anything, but maybe you're at home, right? You are married and the car owner is the wife, right? So the guy is like, hey, I need to go to this place. ¿Me das un aventón? Could you take me? Could you take me there? And so you go, of course, as being the wife, like very nice and helping one another, like you do it. you didn't even want it to go out, but you do it just to help another person,
Yeah,
to take someone
thank
to a test.
you.
Dar un aventón.
Okay. And what about there's
Sorry,
some
sorry.
what?
Sorry, Jesse. I just remember because
Yeah.
aventon. I think this is quite important because aventar, like the in infinitive would be like to push. So when you push someone, that is aventar. Or maybe you have, you have something and you toss the thing or you throw the thing, that also would be like aventar. So just for you to know, because again, this is a slang expression, and it doesn't have the same meaning, like, or the literal meaning as the words in it, right? So it doesn't mean you push someone. Don't do it.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. That definitely is important. So now we have a few words that mean a little bit. A lot of times, like if someone asks me my age in English, I might say like 40 something. And in Spanish, 40 is cuarenta. And so I could say cuarenta y tanto. That means 40 something. Or if someone asks me how much am I selling something that I've listed on Facebook Marketplace for, and I don't have a specific price yet, I said ciento y cacho, like 100 and some, like 100 and a little bit more, or ciento y feria. Those three words all mean like and a little bit. So you put the number and then y cacho or y tanto, y feria. And then using the word feria, and this is more in the north part of Mexico, but people in Querétaro definitely understand it. Feria means coins. And here in Querétaro, in Mexico City, it's more common to, when people say like morralla, it's coins rather than peso bills. There are, in the Farmacia Guadalajara, it has signs that say, tráenos tu morralla y te la cambiamos. So bring your morralla, your change, and we'll change it to peso bills for you. So feria and morralla is like coinage. And Alex, what about, I'm giving you all of the very slang ones.
Good, yeah. That's what we're here for, right? So
Yeah.
me cayó el 20. Okay, this expression has story, because in the past, when in restaurants or bars, there were these jukebox, normally people had to put a coin of, I think it was like 20 cents, like a long time ago, and it was el 20 because it was like 20 cents. So the 20 cents coin was going into the jukebox to play the song. So it's where this expression comes from, like cayó el 20, right? Like the 20 cents coin went through. Let's put it that way, right? So now the expression that has nothing to do with that, it's used when you realize about something, right? It's very commonly used when you were doing something maybe not the right way and you're doing it the right way now. Sometimes, for example, you could say that you weren't a very good student, right? I wasn't a very good student, but then I realized I had to do this or that. And you can say like, me cayó el 20. No era tan buen alumno. I wasn't a very good student, pero me cayó el 20. Y ahora soy muy bueno. And now I realized I had to do it differently, and now I'm very good. Or only when you realized about something. it could be also in a more general environment, like when you realize, again, when you realized about something, te cae el 20. But it's very commonly used more like for people our age, because younger generations, they don't use this anymore. Like in some years, nobody's going to use this expression anymore. But it's very commonly used from parents to their kids, like a ver si ya te cae el 20. Let's see if you realize you're doing this wrong, right?
Wonderful. Thank you. And yeah, I'm like showing my age by putting this in the presentation, right?
No, we all are the same age
Yeah.
range.
JP, what about mal de puerco?
I was mal de puerco. Okay, before I said what it means, because there is actually a phrase, the same one in English, well, but with different words, of course. How do you say that in English? Like literally the pork.
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Mal is bad
Yeah.
and puerco is pig. There's not like you can't use this literally.
No, that's what I was thinking. Like the bad of the pork, or I like not even translating it would make any sense. Like you wouldn't have a clue
But
why
it could
they would
be
use it.
like, if you translate it in a more literal way, would be like when you're cursed, the pork cursed, or
The
yes,
pork
yeah,
cursed,
like a witch,
cursed,
you know,
cursed.
a witch that curses
Oh
you with
yeah.
The
you know,
pork
the
cursed.
curse. Yeah, the pork curse
Could
or
be.
something
Okay,
like that. That would be more literal.
Well,
but
anyway,
it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, no, I was thinking of that. Like, if somebody hears it for first time, I mean, even in Mexico, there is a way that somebody needed to explain to somebody else, because that is a phrase, a very interesting phrase. But anyway, it literally means, or not literally, but what it means is food coma. So when those moments that I know, guys, you can even raise your hands there if you want, but everybody has experience when you eat so much that you feel like you can't do anything else. Like you are even concentrating in breathing. You know, you ate too much tacos and you don't want even to sit, talk, even think. It's just that food coma, because that was so good, but you knew after, of course, afterwards, that you ate so much. So that would be food coma.
Mal de puerco.
El
What
mal de
about
puerco.
echarte un coyotito? Maybe you want to echarte un coyotito after you've eaten so much and had mal de puerco.
Yeah. Coyotito, like Alex is saying, that is also a specific phrase that it is not becoming as common, but you can hear the word siesta too. Echarte una siesta, which
like take
means
a nap.
take a nap. You know, I have this food coma and I will just go ahead and take a nap. Nap time. So echarte una siesta, echarte un coyotito. Siesta is a little bit more common than coyotito.
I'm gonna throw myself a little coyote.
That's what it would mean literally.
Yeah.
One more thing about food here, JP, if you want to help us out with this one.
Hey, food expert. Okay.
Yeah.
Se me antojó. Se me antojó is when you, it is not as common as like food coma. You would say, here is common that people are saying se me antojó. That is a common phrase that you will hear often. But what
I feel like
is when you are craving something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you feel like when you're having that craving, see somebody with a dessert, it looks very yummy, and then suddenly you start craving. It's like, man, I want some. You know, I've been having in my mind that I want this, I don't know, pizza. Let's go to pizza. And you have this, hey, and even you want to invite people after because you are craving. It's something that you really want to eat. And it's usually with food. Se me antojó, it has to do a lot with food specifically, or there is this just saying that when people is eating, for example, if I'm gonna eat a piece of fruit or an ice cream and it fell on my clothes, you could say to the other friend that is in front of you, that happens because I don't know where it comes from, to be honest. But when somebody gets stains because they were eating good food, you will say to the other, "Oh, you were craving it. Yeah, se te antojó, and that is why it fell on my clothes." But yeah.
Thank you. Another one here, these phrases are general in my experience to Spanish speaking countries besides Mexico as well. You might hear the term ocho días or quince días. So that means 8 days or 15 days. And people will say, okay, I'll see you in ocho días. It's like, I can speak from having gone to school and grown up in the United States, a week is 7 days, right? So if today is Saturday and I'm going to see you next Saturday, that's 7 days from now. So are you telling me that I'll see you next Sunday? I was very confused when I first heard this, but in Latin America, the week is 8 days because you're counting both of the Saturdays. So you count today, then you count Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you also count next Saturday. So it's like saying, I'll see you in a week. Or 15 days is I'll see you in 2 weeks. And this is very common. It's not slang, it's more of a saying that's general to Spanish speaking countries. So you can definitely use this in professional situations, but it's very common to hear if you have Spanish class once a week, you should really have Spanish class more than once a week. But or if you go to a church or if you have a meeting once a week, people will say, te veo en 8 días, or nos vemos en 8 días. So now you don't have to think, wait, what is this supposed to mean? It's 1 week, 8 días, 2 weeks, 15 días. And I do want to, I know it's almost noon here. I do want to, how do I stop sharing my screen? I want to open it up to any questions that people might have. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now. So those of you watching in the recording, thank you for joining us. It's been lovely and I hope you enjoyed it. Those of you who are here live, you can feel free to stay on for a moment. I'm just gonna stop the recording.